Welcome to the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast, powered by Jetro. Each week, we bring extremely valuable accounting and tax tips specific to small business owners. You will be on your way to growing your business and putting more money in your pockets. Here's your host.
Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is, what can I deduct as a business expense? Now, before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by the Tax Minimization Program, which is a training program to ensure that you pay the least amount in taxes as legally possible. To find out more, go to taxsavingspodcast.com. I am your host, Mike Jesowshek, and again, today's topic is, what can I deduct as a business expense? Now, there is so much confusion around this specific topic. We get this all the time in our free Facebook group. Can I deduct this? Can I deduct that? And so we want to spend some time to kind of go through what is an allowable business expense. What can you deduct as a business owner? So if you haven't joined our free Facebook group, please check it out. You just go to Facebook and type in Small Business Tax Secrets, answer a few questions, and get logged right into that. So again, let's go to the topic. What can I deduct as a business expense? And within that kind of day-to-day life of your small business, you're going to incur what we call ordinary and necessary expenses. And those are the items that you can deduct when filing your taxes. And so the question becomes, what does ordinary and necessary mean? Basically, ordinary means that it's common and typical in the industry in which your business operates. And necessary means that it's appropriate, required, or helpful in the operation of your business. So basically, an ordinary and necessary expense means that it's appropriate and helpful for your business. So when we talk about this, when we look at necessary, it could be necessary to retain employees. It could be necessary to get employees. It could be necessary to get clients, retain clients, anything like that. So if it's ordinary and necessary, then it can qualify as a business expense. And now we've been talking the past couple weeks about this new ebook that we launched, which is the ultimate list of business deductions. And I think that this is a great place for you to start. In there, we kind of list a bunch of typical business deductions that we see small business owners have. So I would definitely recommend you downloading that ebook, and you can do that directly on our podcast website at taxsavingspodcast.com/deductions. And so in there, we talk about things like advertising and commissions and contract labor and employee benefit programs and gifts, insurance, interest, legal and professional fees, office expenses, rent or lease. These are just examples of topics and expense items that you might have in your business. And within each one of those, we also give a little bit of description and some examples of what might be included in those types of expenses. So again, if you haven't downloaded our ultimate list of business deductions, check that out now. That's going to get the brain flowing. It's going to get you ideas going through your head of, okay, what can I deduct as a business expense in my business? So definitely check that out. Now, when we talk about business expenses, this is one area that we see business owners not take as seriously as they can when we're looking at tax planning. Tax planning is basically the idea of getting a business deduction, lowering your taxable income. And so when we talk about maximizing business deductions, we want to think about after-tax dollars and pre-tax dollars. So after-tax dollars is money that you spend after it has been taxed. So you have money that you receive that's been taxed, and then you spend this money after that. So, think of a W-2 employee. They might have, when COVID hit, they might have bought a desk for their home office. They have internet that they're using at their home office, and they're buying all those things using personal funds. They're going to get no deduction for that because they're a W-2 employee. Now let's look at pre-tax. Pre-tax dollars is spending that's done prior to it actually being taxed. So take that same example that we talked about, but now you're a business owner. You can buy that desk through the business and get a business deduction prior to those funds being taxed. And so when we look at after-tax versus pre-tax dollars, we want to always be thinking, how can we turn after-tax dollars? How can we take spending that is typically done after it's been taxed and move it into a pre-tax dollars? Find a business reason for this expense, get a business deduction prior to those funds being taxed. And so that's my goal for everybody, is to strategize to find after-tax dollars that can be moved to pre-tax dollars by finding or having a business purpose. So when we think about this is, again, one area where I see so many business owners missing out on tax planning. Tax planning, a lot of people think tax planning is for the rich, for the wealthy, and they miss some of these little things that go on, like having a home office, like making sure you're deducting everything that's business related. You go to meals with a friend that could be a client or a potential client, you're talking business. How can we turn these typical after-tax items into pre-tax expenses? So a few notes on this. Of course, everything in our ultimate list of business deductions when we talk about is general advice, and not every tax deduction may be allowed for your specific business. So I'm always going to say, talk to your tax professional before acting to ensure that expense item is valid in your business. We hear this all the time. We say, well, my brother's sister's daughter has a business and she deducts all these items into it. And a lot of times I say, that might be good. That might be valid in her type of business. But just because she can deduct it in her business does not mean that you can deduct it in your business. I also say a lot of people do things wrong. They deduct things that they're not supposed to. And so I always say, don't kind of take the judgment of everyday people that you're talking to. Talk to a tax professional. Ask in our Facebook group, join our tax minimization program where you have full access to our team to ask these general kind of questions at any point in time with that partner on your team. But find someone that you can trust to make sure that you are deducting things the correct way and they are valid in your business. Now, with that being said, I also want to encourage you to utilize the tax law the way it's written. Take advantage of being a business owner and being able to take these tax deductions in your business. A few other things, we talk about this a lot, but always have a separate bank account or credit card for your business that you're running these business expenses through. Keep great records and receipts, so write directly on the receipt the business purpose and background behind the transaction, so it's easy to remember in case you need it down the road. And again, get creative. Search through your personal spending and look for ways to create those additional pre-tax deductions by finding a business purpose for the spending that you may already be doing. Again, don't forget to download our ultimate list of business deductions. It's a great place for you to go initially, grab some ideas, get some strategies, kind of get the brain flowing on valid business deductions that you can be taking in your business. You can find that on our website at taxsavingspodcast.com/deductions. So let's go again and review. What can I deduct as a business expense? Anything that is ordinary and necessary in your business. Ordinary means common and typical in your industry, and necessary means it's appropriate or required or helpful for your business to operate successfully. So if we can find that ordinary necessary piece in a business deduction, let's make sure we're running it through the business. How do we maximize business deductions? We want to think about this after-tax and pre-tax idea. After-tax dollars is money that you spend after it's been taxed. So you make income from your business, you're a W-2 owner, the money gets taxed, and then you go spend afterwards. We want to be always thinking about how can we turn some of that after-tax spending into a pre-tax dollar, find a business purpose for that spending, and get it running through the business versus after tax. So strategize, get creative, search through your personal spending and see if you can find expenses on there that are related to the business, and you can move them out of after tax into a pre-tax deduction by finding that business purpose for the spending that you're already doing. This is money that you're already spending otherwise. And I also want to caution this. When we talk about maximizing deductions and taking advantage of being a business owner, we also don't recommend just going out and spending crazy. That's not the idea behind this. The idea is not to spend money that we don't have or buy things that we don't need. The idea is that if we're going to be spending money anyways, how can we find a business purpose for it and get a business deduction for it versus not? Again, we talk about a ton of this stuff on the podcast, hiring your kids, doing a retirement plan, things like that. That's kind of where we want our brain to be thinking, but also just everyday expenses too. And as I kind of mentioned, just remember that this is general advice. Not every business has the same ordinary and necessary deductions. What might be fine in one industry might not be a business deduction in another industry. So be sure you're checking with your tax professional as well, and check out our ultimate list of business deductions. Again, taxsavingspodcast.com/deductions. All right, so that's what we have today for that. Now, I did want to remind you that we are running an awesome promotion right now. So basically, we're going to have one lucky person receive our signature Stay Humble, Hustle Hard t-shirt and technology sticker set. We're also giving away a 1-year subscription to the tax minimization program, which is almost a $1,200 value. It's very easy to enter. All you need to do is submit a review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, share our podcast on social media, and then email a screenshot of that proof to us. ask@taxsavingspodcast.com. These will be selected, the winner will be selected on August 16th of 2021. A couple notes, current tax minimization program members will be given 2 entries for the review. So be sure to indicate in your email if you are a current member, because you'll be receiving 2 entries if you're a current tax minimization program member. If you're a current member and you happen to be selected, your subscription billing will be put on pause for 12 months. If you want more information on this, go to taxsavingspodcast.com/promo. taxsavingspodcast.com/promo. Again, a very easy thing to do. Submit a review, share our podcast on social media, email us the proof of that, and you'll be entered to win a t-shirt, a technology sticker set, and a 1-year subscription to our tax minimization program. So that's all we have for today. Again, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to another episode, and I will see you next week.
This has been another episode of the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast from the team at Jetro. If you enjoy our weekly episodes, please leave a review on whatever platform you listen to us on and share with other business owners. If you have any questions or future topics you want to hear, email them to tax@jetrotax.com. Thanks for listening and have a great day.